Journey to the West, an audio drama series. Chapter 7, Part 1. Fortune and fame, all determined by fate. To live is never letting the soul go awry. Truthful and straight, good virtues shall bring a future so bright. Arrogance will provoke the wrath of heaven, if not now, some day down the line. Ask God why now such plight? Because his ambition saw no limits. Hierarchy was ignored, and rules defied. We spoke of how the heaven-equaling great sage was marched to the monster beheading platform by heavenly soldiers. As he was tied to the monster-quelling pillar, he was slashed by knives, chopped by axes, stabbed by spears, and cut into by swords. Yet nothing inflicted any damage on his body. Stars of the Southern Dipper fiercely order all the gods from the fire sector to simmer him in burning flames. Yet fire could not hurt him either. And so the Thunder sector was ordered to nail into him a shower of thunder splinters. Yet this again could not even damage a single hair on him. The mighty Force Monster King and others reported to the throne. Your Majesty, this great sage has learned this power of self-protection from who knows where. We, your subjects, have tried cutting with blades, chopping with axes, striking with thunder, and burning with fire, yet none of it could hurt him even by a single hair. What should we do? The Jade Emperor heard this and said, This brute! How could this? What should we do about it? The supreme and venerable elder then reported, That monkey has eaten divine peaches, drunk imperial wine, and stolen divine magical pellets. That 5 bottles of pellets he ate had a mixture of both raw and cooked ones. He swallowed them all into his stomach. When you burnt him with samadhi fire, it tempers him into a solid mass, turning his body into golden steel which cannot be quickly destroyed. Why not hand him over to this old Taoist? I shall place him in the furnace of 8 trigrams and smelt him with both low and high heat. That way, my magical pellets can be restored, while his body will turn to ash. The Jade Emperor agreed and soon ordered the 6 gods of the ordinal Ding and 6 gods of the ordinal Jia to release the prisoner and hand him over to the elder. Here, Ding and Jia are both ordinals of Tiangan, the heavenly stems, which are used to name the days and years. Jia is the first name of the heavenly stems, while Ding is the 4th. The elder accepted the edict and left. In the meantime, Erlang, the illustrious sage, was summoned. He was awarded with 100 golden flowers, 100 cups of imperial wine, and 100 pills of refined magical pellets, as well as rare treasures, bright pearls, brocades, and so on. All things he could share with his sworn brothers. The true lord thanked the throne and returned to Guanjiangkou. We will speak no more of that. The elder was back in the Tushta Palace, where he ordered the great sage to be untied. They retrieved the weapon that pierced through his scapulae before pushing him into the furnace of 8 trigrams. And so the Taoists watching over the furnace and the youths lighting the fire were ordered to fan up the flames for the smelting process. The furnace, you see, exhibited the 8 trigrams, Qian, Kan, Gen, Zhen, Xun, Li, Kun, and Dui, in 8 directions respectively. Wukong squeezed himself into the compartment of Xun, which was in the southeastern direction. Xun also represented wind. Where there was wind, there would be no fire. However, the wind stirred up smoke, which reddened his eyes. This left him with a permanent condition called 火眼金睛, fire eyes and golden pupils. Time flew by, and soon 49 days have passed. The elder's fire has reached the required conditions. And so on this very day, he opened up the furnace to collect his magical pellets. At the time, the great sage was covering his eyes with both hands as he tried wiping away tears. Suddenly, he heard a noise from the top of the furnace. He opened his eyes hard and saw it was light. Unable to restrain himself, he leapt up and jumped out of this furnace of pills. With a loud crash, he kicked down the furnace of 8 trigrams and walked straight out. Terrified, those who tended the fire and watched the furnace, along with the gods of Ding and Jia, all rushed to drag him back, and one by one, they were all thrown off by Wukong, who was behaving like a beast going berserk. The elder ran up to clutch him, only to be knocked head over heel with a shove as Wukong made his escape. He pulled out the compliant rod from his ear. With a bounce in the wind, it turned thick as a bowl. Holding it in his hands and not giving a damn about good or evil, he created another havoc in heaven. And so the 9 celestial luminaries shut their doors, and the 4 heavenly kings were nowhere to be found. This splendid fiendish monkey, natural born and immortal, with a rod complying to whatever it is told. Body of a monkey, the heart of a man, a heart human enough, but still wild as an ape. This time around, the monkey king threw away all regards and swung his iron rod in every direction. Not a single god could withstand his attacks. He made his way into the Hall of Omnipresent Brightness, all the way outside the Hall of Miraculous Mist. Fortunately, an aide to the sage guardian and true lord named Divine Officer Wang was on duty in the halls. He saw the great sage charging around, and so he pulled out his golden hard whip and went up to bar him, saying, "Unruly monkey, where do you think you're going? As long as I'm here, this is no place for you to go rogue." The great sage didn't bother arguing, and instead swung his rod at him. The divine officer raised his hard whip to hit back. The two got into a messy battle in the Hall of Miraculous Mist. The divine officer, courageous and upright, selfless and determined, was there to make sure the great sage never got his way. They fought on and on, with neither coming on top. Meanwhile, the sage guardian and true lord sent his aides to the thunder sector to have all 36 thunder generals deployed. As they circled the great sage at the center, they all fought with the utmost ferocity. The great sage, however, had not a trace of fear on his face. With his one compliant rod, he blocked from the left and dodged from the right, barring from behind and advancing towards the front. At one moment, all the thunder generals unleashed their sharp weapons at him together. Faced with such imminent attack, Wukong shook his body and turned to the form of 3 heads and 6 arms. With a bounce, the compliant rod too tripled itself. The 6 hands holding 3 rods started moving like a spinning wheel, whirling and dancing smoothly at the center of the encirclement. None of the thunder gods were able to come close. Truly, perfectly round, blindingly bright, an everlasting form not replicable by any man. Cannot be burned by fire, cannot be drowned by water. Like the gleaming pearl we call money, immune to the blades of many. He could be good, he could be bad. Good or bad, now all at his will. When good, he could be a Buddha or an immortal. When bad, he will grow fur and horns like a beast. Endless transformations wrecking the heavenly palace, out of the reach of thunder generals and divine soldiers. The many sages closed in on the great sage, keeping him in one spot but still unable to go near him. All the hustle and bustle had long disturbed the Jade Emperor. He therefore released an edict, sending the divine officer of patrol, along with the sage assistant and true lord, to the west and asked the elderly Buddha to come subdue Sun Wukong. The two sages received the edict and headed straight to the land of wonder, Spirit Mountain, also known as Glutagut, or Vulture Peak. They arrived at the treasure temple of Thunderclap. After paying respect to the 4 gods of Rajla and the 8 bodhisattvas, they asked their message be delivered. The gods therefore came under the treasure lotus dais to inform Buddha, or Ru Lai, also known as Tathagat, whom then received the visitors. The two sages greeted Buddha by circling him 3 times before waiting under the dais. Ru Lai asked, "What matter of the Jade Emperor has brought the two sages to my humble place?" The two sages then detailed what had taken place, from Sun Wukong's origin in the mountain of flower and fruit, all the way to him breaking out from the furnace of 8 trigrams and wreaking havoc in heaven. They concluded by saying, "That is why the Jade Emperor has sent us here to invite Ru Lai to defend the throne." Ru Lai listened carefully and then told the various bodhisattvas, "You all shall sit steadily here in the religious hall. Do not move away from your seats. Wait for me as I go simmer the fiend and save the throne."